been wanting to rank Star Wars by the Star Wars since I started watching Star Wars, so that is why I'm ranking every Star Wars movie by only the wars and the stars for that movie. I hope that makes sense. And quick rules, if the fight happens inside a planet's atmosphere, it doesn't count because it's not in the stars. Which leads us to last place on this ranking list with a tie between Force Awakens and Rise of Palpatine. Both of these movies have 0 Star Wars. In The Force Awakens, all the starships are seen within a planet's atmosphere, like you can see here, and on Starkiller Base, where they are again not in space. So none of these count. And for Rise of Palpatine, they don't ever fight in space either. You may think that this big ol' fight is in space, cause I did at first, but I went back and watched it, and we can see that there's lightning in the background, which does not happen in space. And also, these rebels are on a ship with no oxygen masks or nothing, and they're still alive, meaning they have to be inside the atmosphere to get oxygen. So yeah, these two disgraces of a Star Wars movie are as useful as a white girl in a horror movie. Like, it's Star Wars. Put a war in the stars, dang it. At number 9 is Empire Strikes Back. At least there is kinda some Star Wars going on here, but most of the war in the movie happened on Hoth, so the space battle we got was just the Falcon running away from the Star Destroyer. And sorry to offend the OG fans, but this isn't that great. They just kind of fly away into some asteroids, and the second they enter the beastie thing in the rock, whatever, it is no longer space, so none of that stuff there counts. So like, it's alright, but compared to the next one on this list, it just doesn't compete at all. At number 8 is The Phantom Menace. This movie has 2 Star Wars, and well, it's not much better than the last movie, to be honest. The first is running the blockade out of Naboo, and I checked to make sure the ship was in fact in space, and it was. But other than an R2 clutch here, this war ain't that good. The next war is a lot better, as you can obviously see here, and like, it's not the greatest battle, but it definitely beats Empire in my opinion. Also, spinning is a good trick.
I'll try spinning, that's a good trick.
And I'm gonna be honest for a second, that line is like the whole reason this movie is higher. But hey, it's my list, so my rules, am I right? Yeah. At number 7 is Attack of the Sorority Girls. Oh, sorry. Attack of the Clones. Same thing, though. The only space battle in this movie is a calm little 1v1 between Obi-Wan and the Slave One. Yeah, I said Slave Disney. Come at me. But I think we all know the only reason that this fight is ranked above the last two. It's not fancy maneuvers or asteroids exploding. It's just this glorious sound. And you know it was so nice, they had to do it twice. Oh, that sound in IMAX just hits different. I can only imagine how hyped the people were in Hiroshima. At number 6 is movie 6. We got one Star Wars here with the attack on the Death Star 2. And I should mention right now that when they go into the Death Star, they are no longer in space, so that part is not considered for this ranking. The space battle by itself, though, was still pretty lit. We got the Death Star just beaming this whole ship out of there. Like, GG's mate, you tried, but there's nothing you can do against that. And the visuals are also pretty good in my opinion. I mean, not the greatest, but lots of explosions and whatnot. And RIP to this kamikaze legend. This guy went straight for the kill shot, no hesitation. This is enough to make a grown Japanese— oh, the recording cut. That's odd. At number 5 is Solo, and the only Star Wars I could find is the Kessel Run. I didn't really know if I should have count this as space since there are like no stars, but this scene kinda just cooked, so I just let it slide, man. I do think that this movie kinda just speaks for itself. Like, it looks cool, okay? I know it's only 144 pixels that you see here, but bootlegging is hard these days. Give me a break. Did you get that? Because he's breakdancing. Give me a break. Yeah, sorry, move on. At number 4 is The Last Jedi. Yes, I know it's a sequel movie, and as a certified sequel hater myself, I did not want to put this high. But the whole movie was basically a long space battle, so it had to be high. And credit's due where credit is due. That's not the saying, and whatever. Credit is due to how awesome the opening scene was with this rebel bombing attack on the Dreadnought. It had a very big boom, and I like big explosions a lot. Also, Kylo Ren was low-key aura farming in his fighter when he was attacking here. He was like weaving through this place like a weaver. Yeah, not my best one, I'm sorry. I'm just going to ignore the fact that Leia is casually flying through space here because I like to pretend it never happened and it was all a bad hallucination. Unfortunately for this movie, Star Wars, Holdo's little light-speed maneuver happened to be in space, and I can't pretend this was a hallucination. This maneuver single-handedly brought down this movie by 2 spots for shattering the fabric of Star Wars lore. Because if you can do this, why not just get a droid into a ship and ram it straight into the Death Star? Because with this logic, it would work. This is why I hate the sequels, and I also hate At 1 is Rogue 3 with the battle over Scarif, and that over is important. The second a ship goes through the space gate here, they are no longer in the Star Wars. But talk about visuals, man, these are sexy AF. Look how cool this shield closing is. The blue energy is so cool to look at, and also RIP to that dude who was not quick enough. We won't miss you, gang. As good as the whole thing was, I put it this high mostly because of this battering ram maneuver. 10-year-old me thought this was the most glorious thing to look at, and it low-key was. The visuals team was cooking. I cannot wait to see this movie again in IMAX. And then we thought it was over, but at the last second, when the rebels were leaving, they got blocked by James! The Aura Man ship out of nowhere comes in and dominates. I haven't seen this type of domination since the Seahawks versus Broncos Super Bowl. At number 2 is A New Hope. This was the OG Star Wars. I don't care if the visuals look like an average PS2 game, this fight still is lit. You also have to remember they did all these special effects without computers, so I'm gonna just kind of let the bad visuals slide. Luke Skywalker also, you know what? If you don't know why this movie is high, you better be high, or I personally hate you more than a clone hates a clanker, or more than a southern guy in the 1920s. At number 1 is the greatest Star Wars movie with the greatest Star War of all time, Revenge of the Sith. The battle over Coruscant to Starfighter movie is peak main, and if you think I'm wrong, go check out my new channel, That Movie Guy. It has nothing to do with Revenge of the Sith, but you should do it. You will definitely regret your decision. I'll see y'all there.